Just when you thought the 2024 presidential election could not get any wackier, Hillary Clinton comes riding in like Joan of Arc to rescue truth, or at least to call for crushing any critics of the government. But Hillary has been a triple threat to American democracy for 15 years. Last Monday evening, Hillary declared on Rachel Maddow's MSNBC talk show that the federal government should criminally prosecute Americans who share propaganda, which she made no effort to define. Hillary has been one of the most outspoken censorship advocates in this country for many years. In 2021, Hillary announced that there must be, quote, a global reckoning with disinformation, with the lack of accountability that the social media platforms enjoy. Hillary made that comment at a time when freedom in much of the world had been obliterated by governments responding to a COVID pandemic that occurred thanks in part to the U.S. government funding reckless experiments in Chinese government labs. The U.S. government lied about its funding of those Chinese labs, but that wasn't disinformation, that was public service. Has anybody seen Tony Fauci lately? In 2022, Hillary wailed that tech platforms have amplified disinformation and extremism with no accountability, and she endorsed European Union laws that obliterated free speech completely. But disinformation is often simply the lag time between the pronouncement and the debunking of government falsehoods. That awkward fact did not deter Democratic Vice President nominee and Governor of Minnesota Tim Walz from declaring last month there is no guarantee to free speech on misinformation or hate speech, and especially around our democracy. Who knew that the Minnesota version of the First Amendment had a loophole bigger than Duluth? 2 years ago, the New York Post shot down President Biden's Disinformation Governance Board with his wacky Mary Poppins singing disinformation czar Nina Jankowicz. Biden responded by appointing Vice President Harris as chief of a White House disinformation task force to find ways to protect women and LGBT politicians and journalists from vigorous criticism on the internet. I mean, how can we have self-government in this country if people go around criticizing female politicians? Based on Harris's prior comments, she'll likely sharply increase repression of her critics on social media if she wins in November. Biden administration's censorship schemes have been denounced by federal courts and Facebook chief Mark Zuckerberg. Congresswoman Nancy Mace, chair of the House Cybersecurity Subcommittee, sent the White House a letter last week calling for ending all federal censorship tainting the 2024 election. Mace also asked for copies of all official contacts with social media companies concerning the concealment or suppression of information on their sites. The odds of the White House complying with that request are the same as the New York Giants winning the Super Bowl this year. At the same time that Hillary Clinton wants to punish people who criticize the government, she epitomizes a politician who feels entitled to blindfold the American people. Back when she was Secretary of State from 2009 to 2013, Clinton exempted herself from the Freedom of Information Act, FOIA, setting up a private server in her New York mansion to handle her official mail. That completely violated federal law, but the State Department ignored 17 FOIA requests for her emails and said it would take 75 years to fulfill a FOIA request for the emails of her top aides. That's as slow as the JFK assassination process. The Federal Bureau of Investigation shrugged off all of Hillary's aides, destroying those emails. 30,000 that got wiped out by BleachBit. FBI treated that like a harmless error. Promenading as a champion of candor is a new role for the former Secretary of State. Shortly before the 2016 election, a Gallup poll found that only 33% of voters believed that Hillary was honest and trustworthy, and only 35% trusted Donald Trump. The Clinton-Trump tag team made post-truth the Oxford English Dictionary 2016 Word of the Year. But maybe I should be grateful to Hillary for explaining things that I totally failed to understand. For instance, Hillary believes that the hidden lesson of George Orwell's 1984 is that good citizens should shut up and grovel. To sanctify more censorship nowadays, Hillary is again invoking the Russian peril. But her previous Russian stories were some of the most damaging disinformation in modern American history. A hefty report last year from Special Counsel John Durham noted that in mid-2016, after the shellacking she suffered from her email scandal, Quote, Clinton allegedly approved a proposal from one of her foreign policy advisors to tie Trump to Russia as a means of distracting the public from her use of a private email server. President Obama was briefed on the Clinton proposal to vilify Donald Trump by stirring up a scandal claiming interference by Russian security services. FBI officials relied on the Clinton plan to target the Trump campaign, even though FBI officials relied on the Clinton plan to target Trump campaign officials, even though FBI officials took no effort to verify her allegations. The first 3 years of Trump's presidency were haunted by constant accusations that he colluded with Russians to win the 2016 election. In 2019, an Inspector General report confirmed that the FBI made fundamental errors in the case and persistently deceived the FISA court to authorize surveilling the Trump campaign. Hillary scams were too much even for federal scorekeepers. The Federal Election Commission last year levied a $113,000 fine on Hillary Clinton's 2016 campaign and the Democratic National Committee for lying about their role in bankrolling the Steele dossier, which launched the FBI's targeting of the Trump campaign. In Hillary's new improved version of the Constitution, there is no free speech for deplorables, that vast swath of Americans who she openly condemned in 2016. But this is the same mindset being shown by the Harris campaign. Harris has scorned almost every opportunity to explain how she would use her power that she's seeking to capture over American citizens. Instead, she's entitled to the Oval Office by acclamation of the mainstream media and all decent folks, or at least those who drive electric vehicles and donate to her campaign. We have to ask, is disinformation becoming simply another stick for rulers to use to flog uppity citizens? Politicians denouncing disinformation sounds better than proclaiming, "Shut up, peasants." If politicians have no obligation to disclose how they use their power and can persecute citizens who expose their abuses, how in Hades can American freedom survive? But the biggest question is, will censorship by the Biden administration steal the 2024 election for Kamala Harris? Unfortunately, according to Hillary Clinton, you're not worthy of knowing the answer.